Hi everyone, it's Sunday the 17th of October. Welcome to another one of Alan's Angling Adventures, and we're back up the River Adur again. And although I'm always excited when I go fishing, I'm extra excited today because I'm fishing a stretch I've never fished before. This is known as the New Inn stretch, so it's all new to me down here. First time I've been here. Although I did take a look at it a few years ago now when I was roaming the banks having a look round when I first joined the club. I must admit it looks really good. Really it's a good stick float venue this, but I'm going to be, well, it's very tidal as well, very tidal, and the tide up here today, I think it's high tide somewhere around 12:30, which means it's on its way up now very slowly. So we're probably going to have to move back as we go through the session. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off on a couple of rods with the feeders to start off with, and then once it gets to high tide and starts levelling out and then starts dropping for about 2-3 hours, I should go on the waggler, and we'll just see what we can pick up. Water looks absolutely, it really does look good, a nice colour to it. It's nice flow to it, it's perfect, to be honest with you. It's flowing from left to right because the tide, as I said, is on its way up now. So I'm probably going to have to move back. As I say, I've never fished this stretch before, so I've got my keep net with me today. I'm hoping I'm going to catch, quite a few fish. That's what I'm hoping anyway. Whether I do or not is another matter. But as I say, it's all new to me down here. And this is one of the spots I wanted to fish that I haven't fished yet, so I look forward to it. I've got to set all my stuff up, so I'm going to be about another 15 minutes before I start fishing. Bait wise, I've got with me, I'll show you what I've got. Not a lot today, to be honest with you. I think it's getting to that time of year now where maggots, I've got my red and white maggots, and I've got my bread. I've got two loaves of bread with me. I've got one loaf which I've got for the hook, Warburton's, because I know there's decent chub up there, and the other loaf is just for throwing out balls of, mashed bread and stuff like that, a cheaper loaf. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So as I say, 2 rods on the feeder. I'm going to be using the Omni feeder rod. That's a 6-pound line, 4-pound hook length, and at the moment on there it's a size 18 hook. I should start off on that with a maggot and just see how it goes. On the other rod, my bomb feeder, my midi bomb proof rod, I'm going to be using bread flake on the hook on a size 8 hook, and it's a curved shanked hook, a better hook to hook chub with. I wish there was barbel in here, I tell you. I really do actually, but unfortunately there isn't. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing, and right, we'll get set up and we'll get fishing and we'll see how we get on. I'll see you in a minute. nice to catch my first fish on this rod. So I do think the main quarry today is going to be roach and chub. That's what I'm anticipating, but we'll see. The water's coming up quicker now and it's flowing a lot quicker. Right, we're all ready to start fishing. We ain't actually fishing yet, but just give you a close shot of the peg we're fishing. As you can see, it's now coming up pretty quick. I've got that undercut over there, that cover over there. I'm just going to put a couple of feeder rods out here to begin with, and then once the river reaches its level, then I will start float fishing, but not until then. So let's see how we get on. So I'm going to have bread flake on one rod, on my bomb-proof rod, and I'm going to have a couple of maggots on the other rod on a maggot feeder. Right. The old Warburtons for the hook. So I'm using a curved hook today, simply because I'm targeting chub. Now, for those of you that watch my videos and know this river, I'm sort of halfway between the fork, which is that way, and Stretton Bridge, which is that way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stuff the feeder with bread. And if it doesn't attract any chub, one thing it probably will attract is the swans, which I probably don't want, to be honest with you. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to swap this ground bait feeder on this rod, which I had from last time, to a maggot feeder. We're actually fishing now on both rods. A couple of red maggots on the left hand rod, a big piece of bread flake on the right hand rod. Already we're getting rattles on the maggots. Really looks chubby, this section though, really does. It's already getting a bit stodgy down here. You can pick it up all right. Now I was going to be fishing last. Oh, there we go, a bite already. I was going to be fishing last Sunday, but I didn't feel too good on the Saturday, so I didn't go in the end. Plenty of rattles on the maggots. Really just looking out for those violent pull rounds that chub do. She's really coming up quick now. I say just routinely bringing the rod in, bringing the line in, you can feel the power of the current. It's so strong, it really is. This is tailor made for chub, without any doubt, this stretch. But I'm having to keep bringing my stuff back now as it's rising pretty quick. As I said to you earlier, as soon as it reaches its peak and I think I can put a float on out there, I'll do that. But I'm only here till about 3 o'clock, so I mean ideally, because of the tide being about 12:30 high tide, I'm up here too early really. I should have come here later. I should have come here a bit later. It is as fast as anything. I'd say it's running through like an express train, it really is. It's a bit of a trial and error for me up here because I've never fished this stretch before. As I've fished down at Streatham and it's fast down there. It could be a harsh lesson today, to be honest with you. But you learn all the time on the river, you know, what to do and what not to do. And I should be fine once it's reached its peak. But really and truly at the moment, I think it really is probably a waste of time fishing, to be honest with you. But we'll keep one. I think what I'll do, I'm going to keep one rod out there. it's about 10:30 now, nothing yet. So it's raging through though. I've got bread flake on the right hand rod, and I've got maggots on the left hand rod on a maggot feeder. I think we're in. Here we are. Great stuff. Brilliant. First fish of the session. It's a nice one. Look at that, well. A cracking roach to start the session off with. Great stuff. That's on maggots, that is. Brilliant. Oh, it's a nice size roach as well. Brilliant stuff. It's a lovely fish to start off with anyway. Right, let's get her back. Oh, that's great, that is. So we're off the mark. I might put a keep net out there once I've if I'm float fishing. But I'm not going to be doing it at the moment because I'm just having to keep moving back. And I better actually get my landing net a bit nearer to me, because the last thing I want is to lose fish, because I can't be bothered to use the landing net. Right, that's great. So we're off the mark. So nice size as well. Even a fish of that size, you know, in the current. You can see it was on there. Oh, right, okay. So I've more or less got the other rod out as a sleeper rod, really, like last time. It's just out there with a lump of bread flake out there, and see if, you know, if anything picks. Here we go again. Whew. Grassier part of the bank. Still the one roach up to now. Nice one though, nice size. Not particularly warm, It's a bit of a breeze blowing from the south, blowing upstream, but at least it's dry and it's overcast as well, so conditions are pretty good. It's quite coloured actually. Check the time. To 11. There's a lot of cover over the far side there. Probably not a bad idea to give it a go over there actually. Might have to put a heavier feeder on here in a minute. It's really raging through out there now. I've got 30 gram maggot feeder on this one. Nothing else yet, just that one roach up to now. No bites at all at the moment. As you can see, it's steaming through. It's really quiet though, quiet stretch up here. Don't get bothered by anyone. Well, I haven't been up to now anyway. As I say, I'm between Stretton Bridge and the Fork. Roughly about, I don't know, roughly speaking, about halfway between the two. This is one of the stretches as I said earlier, I haven't fished before, so it's definitely all new to me, this. Completely different to Betley Bridge, where it's more or less still water up there. As soon as I think I can get on the float, I will, but it won't be until that tide's reached its peak and starts to drop, or is on the turn anyway. Still got maggots on the left hand rod, bread flake on the right hand rod. I've only got a pint of maggots with me today, so I don't want to waste them too much before I start float fishing, because once I start float fishing then I need to keep putting a few out there every so often. say, it looks like it's screaming chub, this place up here, it really does. And I'm pretty sure there are some nice chub in here to be had. So once it gets to around midday, probably about 12:15ish, then I'll start getting my float rod out and getting her ready. I may have my bit of dinner before I start float fishing, because once I start, as I say, I'm only here till, I can only stay here till about 3ish today. If I wasn't going to work tomorrow, if it wasn't for work tomorrow, I would stay here till about 5ish. Because I think that's the best time to fish this, is once it's reached its peak and it starts dropping. It's having a few bites now on the maggot feeder again. In fact, it might even be on there. Don't think it is. Don't think it is. No. Yes, it is. Well, second fish of the day. Little dace. Now, it's always good to get different species, you know. Right, here we go, mate. Yeah, that wind's starting to pick up now. You can definitely feel that autumn's in the air, without any doubt. I think next week it's going to turn more autumny. To be perfectly honest, I wasn't expecting to catch much before 12:30ish. Once the tide's reached its peak, I wasn't, you know, I thought any fish I catch before then would be bonus, you know, so. Nice stretch though, it is a nice stretchy river. I wouldn't be surprised if I have a few issues with the wind again on this video, because it is pretty windy up here now. Not really a lot I can do about it, you know. Well, third different species, a gudgeon. So it's a roach, a dace and a gudgeon up to now, all fall into maggots. Right, not easy. It's not easy at the moment, but I didn't expect it to be at this stage until, as I keep saying, until that tide's reached its peak and it starts to go the other way. Then I'll be more hopeful. ones. I've had 3 fish though, and all 3 different species. So I've got the rods up pretty high now with this tide belting through. It doesn't appear to be coming up much higher. And again on this one. That was the first fish up, by the way, on my new rod. There's plenty of taps on here now. Something pretty big just jumped out just by the clump of reeds over the far side there, over there. Don't know what it was. Could have been a chub. Could have been because there's sea trout up there as well. Could have been a sea trout. Don't know. There's nice fish. Still loads of taps on both rods. Right, time wise it's 10 to 12, so I'm going to give it another 20 minutes and then I'm going to start setting my float rod up. Well, it is more or less set up actually, it's just got to be fine tuned a bit. I might just keep the one ledger rod out there. Yeah, what I'm doing, I'm just putting this out now, this feeder rod out once more. I'm going to have a bite to eat and then what's the time? I've got my float rod all set up now. It's nearly 20 past 12, it's reached its peak now, it's not coming up anymore. So that's when it starts getting a bit more serious for me then. As I say, it's first 2 or 3 hours fishing this morning, when the tide's coming up, it's leveled out, it's levelling out now I think. So I'm not going to waste much more time. I'll give a quick bite to eat and then I'm going to get out there. Well, I've decided to go back on the feeder for a little while. It's still not quite right for float fishing for me at the moment. So, still the 5 fish, 3 roach, a gudgeon and a dace. Well, sixth fish of the day. A little chublet. So it's the fourth species anyway. But so I should be catching now. Should be catching. Right, let's keep going. So we had 3 roach, a chublet, small chub, and a dace and a gudgeon. This is the time now. So I'm not fishing using the float simply because it's flipping deep out there, and I'm struggling. I'll be honest with you, I'm struggling with it on a long, on a long trace. So I'm finding it easier to fish on the feeder, so that's what we do at the moment. And fish number 7, just starting to get them now, just starting to get them. Roach. So that's the 4th roach of the session. These are on double red maggot. So keep getting them maggots in there. What I'm doing, I'm just casting out, letting the current take the maggot feeder down a certain way before I tighten up. There's a bite there. Ooh. Not on there. That was a bit of a rattle. I'll persevere a bit more with this before we go back to the float. Double red maggot, filling the feeder up, about half full with maggots, red and white. Just keep putting them out there in that same spot. Sun's poking through now. My next session will probably be in the October half term, so in a couple of weeks' time. I think I need to fish stretches like this a bit more often and get used to fishing it, you know. Hey, well, small roach. There we are. That's fish number 8. What I'm doing now is casting downstream, letting it run down, and then maggots out on top of the float. Well, I've been switching between the float and the feeder, back on the feeder again. Still the 8 fish, 5 roach, gudgeon, small chub and dace. Time 3 minutes past 2, so I've got about another hour. It's quite windy now, it's quite breezy. Blowing the old rod tip about a bit. Still, at least we've managed to get a session in. It's a shame I haven't been able to catch a great deal. There's always next time, as always say. Plastered in mud though, as I always am when I fish. If I'm fishing on the Streatham stretch, I always get covered in mud. I had no clanging bite, no real bite, you know, really chubby looking bites at all. They've all been roachy type bites that I have had. Biggest fish of the day, the first one I caught. Not getting any bites at all at the moment. I am surprised at that. I thought I would have got, you know, that water level's dropping. As I speak, yes. Fish number 9. Great to see. Welcome one. There we go. That's fish number 9. And I think that's roach number 6. So it's been very patchy, very patchy. But I just wish I had longer. See, the tide wasn't really right for me, really. I needed to be high tide up here, probably around 8 o'clock in the morning, to be just right for me. 8 or 9 o'clock. Let's see if we can make it double figures anyway. my keep net with me today, thinking I was confident that I was gonna get a net full of fish, or quite a few. In here on this stretch. I just gotta get the setup right, get it right what I'm doing, you know, to be able to have a chance of catching them. But it's nice to fish a stretch I haven't fished before. I always like that, you know, somewhere I haven't fished on the river before. So let's just see if we can, what's the time now? It's nearly 2:15. So we've got another 45 minutes. Just see if we can at least get the double figures. Oh, Christ almighty. Oh, just down there. Every session I have, I'm not joking, it's virtually every session I have now, something big jumps out, but not on the end of my hook. God. Just in the margins, that was. Just literally switched my camera on. Whatever that was pretty decent, wasn't it? Just in the margins down there. Again, could have been a chub, could have been a sea trout, could have been, don't know. That's what I mean, they are here. They are here. It looks a nice little stretch to trot with a piece of luncheon meat or something like that. Give you a look, you know, down there, downstream. At least I haven't blanked. At least I've caught something. I just expected to have caught more than what I have caught, and I feel I should have caught more. Now I think I should be catching now. I should be catching quite regularly now. Slowly packing up now. Still on the 9 fish. I will fish up here again though. Definitely will fish up here again. Might be a different spot next time. So I I've seen 2 or 3 decent fish jumping just over the far side, but just up in them sort of where it cuts in over there. So I may give it a go a bit further up next time, or I might give it a go further up past the bridge. I think I need to practice on that stick float. See, if I lived nearer the river, if I lived nearer here, that's what I would do. I would come up here quite a lot and just practice and get it right. But because I don't live near here, you know, it's about an hour and a half's bike ride up here for me. I've basically got to come up here and fish with, you know, and that's it, you know, straight in. I can't practice or anything like that. Don't have the time, you know, to be able to do that. If I live 5 minutes away, I could do. Such an advantage, it's a massive advantage, you know, being able to just come here and practice. I still feel like I should have caught more than what I have done. Maybe I'm being hard on myself, you know, but for someone that hasn't fished this sort of stretch, when I say this sort of stretch, I mean, you know, when it's a fast moving, a pacey stretch of river. I haven't fished it enough. You know, a lot of the stretches I fish are a lot slower than this, and almost still in places. At least I haven't blanked. That's one thing. That's a good thing. At least I haven't done that. I've got probably another 15 minutes. I definitely would have stayed longer if I could. But unfortunately, I can't. If you don't get a bite more or less as soon as you cast out, you don't get one. For some reason. I've been able to get fish number 10, which is a shame. I'm going to grab one more cast. And then that's it. This is going to be the last one now, the last chuck of the session. Last chance to pick up fish number 10. So it's about 3:15 now. I'm packing up now. So the summary of the session is 9 fish, 6 roach, a gudgeon, a dace and a really small chub. A bit disappointing, to be honest. I was expecting to catch more than I have done, and I think I should have caught more than I have done, but it's not to be. That's what it is. And so on to the next session, which will probably be in a couple of weeks' time. Don't know where yet, not sure, but we'll wait and see on that one. Enjoy your own angling, and I'll see you again on the next one. Bye for now.